Hey everybody, Bruno here from Flytec Computers, bringing you another episode of Shop with Bruno. Today we want to talk a little bit about the U6 line of unified access point products that Ubiquiti has to offer. Last week we talked about the UDMs, the Unified Dream Machine. This is kind of the standard one. We have also the Pro and the SC. We went into some details about it in terms of the functionality of what it can manage, of what things it can manage and how it works in a general perspective. So this week we wanted to bring you guys the access points that they'll manage. So this is the U6 line of access points from Ubiquiti. This is kind of the newest and latest and greatest from Ubiquiti in terms of access points. And we wanted to showcase some of the different ones they have here. This week we're going to be talking about 5 different models, kind of the standard format that you see in a lot of places, kind of the disc style of access points that you'll see sometimes hanging from the ceiling, sometimes on the side of a wall. There's even a mount that allows them to kind of be mounted upside down from the side of a wall. So the U6 line of products is kind of the latest and greatest that Ubiquiti has to offer. And so we'll be getting into some detail about some of that. Again, all of these guys can be managed by the Unified Dream Machines, the UDM Pro, the UDM Regular, the UDM SC, and managed by these devices. So let's jump into it. So we can start kind of at the bottom and build our way up. So the first one we want to look at is the U6 Lite. So this guy is kind of the starting off point for the U6 line of products of access points. So as we can see, compared to some of the other ones, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit nicer on the eye if you kind of want to hide it a little bit sometimes and stuff like that. So this is kind of nice in that sense, but obviously it's the entry point. So this is going to be one of the lower powered ones, most simple devices that they have. So this guy is rated for 1,250 square feet. So kind of at the bottom of the coverage area of the U6 line, but nonetheless, it still provides within that 1,250 square feet. It provides 2x2 MIMO Wi-Fi 6. It'll do the 2.4, it'll do 300 megs. In the 5 gigs, it'll do 1.2 gigs. And it can take up to 300 clients. So, maybe if you have a small office area or whatnot, you can definitely cover and get good quality service out of this guy compared to, maybe the bigger range some of the other ones will do. The cool thing about this one is even though it's an entry level one, it still allows you to configure or do the initial configuration via Bluetooth, so through the app that Ubiquiti has to offer. So that's pretty cool that even though it's the entry point one, you can still use either the app or something like one of the UDMs to configure them initially and get it going, right? One of the other things to consider about this guy is that it's PoE regular, so it's not a high powered. It doesn't need to be high powered, obviously, since it's kind of a smaller coverage area. So it does only require regular PoE, which is also nice because it consumes less power. So that's always great. So this is the U6 Lite, the entry level for the U6 access point line. The one after that is the U6 Plus. Kind of difficult to distinguish between the two. Very, very similar, but inside it's much, much better. So this one you're already going up to 1,500 square feet. So this has a little bit more powerful radio. It's also Wi-Fi 6 2x2. The same, well, actually in 2.4 it goes up to 573 of megs of throughput. For the 5 gigahertz, it does 2.4, so it does a little bit more speed. And besides that, it's kind of similar to the U6 Lite in terms of the management, the PoE. It's also the regular PoE, so this is lower powered in terms of the PoE necessities that it'll need to power it. And again, all of it managed through the same UDMs. And so this is also a great device if you kind of on the lower end anyways. If you need to have maybe a little bit more coverage than the U6 Lite, but you also want to get more throughput out of it. That's really where this guy is going to shine for you. So that's the U6 Plus. Very good little device as well. Moving on from that, we have the much bigger, let me move this around here, U6 LR. So as we can see, compared to the U6 Lite and the U6 Plus, it's a lot bigger, 2-3 times the size, much, much bigger. This guy is actually pretty cool because it does take off a lot more boxes now. We're kind of getting into the middle range of the U6 line of products. So this is going to cover quite a bit more. We're talking about somewhere around 2,000 square feet. This is also going to handle more clients. So this it's 350 concurrent clients without any problems. But where it's really going to start shining is the throughput, right? So you're going to get 4x4 out of this, and you're going to be able to get on the 5 gigahertz 2.4 gigs. So this is actually going to be a much wider range of coverage as well as much better throughput. This one, obviously, because it needs a little bit more power, it is going to be a PoE Plus device. So that means you got to make sure that your switch or your PoE adapter is a PoE Plus and that you can have enough juice to get this guy going. And this kind of puts it into the middle range. So same thing, you can manage it with the UDMs. You can do the initial configuration through the Bluetooth. And most importantly, this is kind of the go-to guy for a lot of people in terms of coverage and speed, right? So very good device, well-priced range. You know, it's kind of the medium size, medium level device. The one that goes after that one is the U6 Pro. So kind of very similar. It's a little bit smaller. I think they just were able to squish everything down a little bit and stick it in a little bit smaller package. So the U6 Pro is quite an interesting device because this is where things get very interesting. So this is a 4x4, 350. This one is, I guess, a little bit less power, 1,500 square feet is what it'll do. But now we're kicking into the 4.8 gigs on the 5 gigahertz band. So you're getting a good amount, a good boost of twice of the LR and the U6 Plus, right, in terms of speed on the 5 gigs. So you're getting 4.8 gigs of available throughput on the 5 gigs on this guy. So that means that you can not only cover a good amount of space and have a good amount of clients connected to it, but these clients can now have good amount of throughput to each one of them. So same thing in terms of management. All the UDMs will handle this guy. You can use the Bluetooth to configure it. And it is regular PoE, so that's also good. So this is quite interesting because of the fact that you're getting a good amount, a big boost in throughput on here. So whenever you have a location that's going to need that extra throughput, this is the guy you want to go with. This is a U6 Pro. And then finally, the top of the line, the big guy here, is the U6 Enterprise. So this is basically all the boxes and then some. So this guy will actually jump up to 600 concurrent clients is what we can do on this guy. 1,500 square feet, 4x4. This does 2.4 and 573 megs, 5 gigahertz and 4.8. And then most interesting is the Wi-Fi 6E availability it has. So this Unify 6 Enterprise will actually allow you to already be ready for the next generation of Wi-Fi 6E, which operates on the 6 gigahertz band. So this is going to give you 4.8 gigs on that band and kind of leave you ready for the future. So if you want to future-proof any sites, you got any projects that you want to make sure that 5 years down the road when new cell phones and laptops and things start rolling around with the the latest and greatest Wi-Fi 6E, you want to make sure to put this guy in there. The other cool thing about it is obviously all that extra throughput through the wireless, you need to have some extra throughput through the RJ45 on the back. So this does have a 2.5 gig RJ45. It is a PoE Plus. Obviously, it has 3 radios in here, so it needs all the juice it can get. And so it does give you extra throughput on the Ethernet with the 2.5 gigs as well. So this is the top of the line guy. This is the U6 Enterprise. It's going to future-proof your network. Make sure you're ready to go for when the next version of Wi-Fi 6E really starts rolling out through to end devices. So again, all of it manageable through the UDMs, the UDM Pro, the UDM SC. So this is all that you can cover kind of in the sense of the standard format of Unify access points. So all of these are available from our warehouse right now. We're shipping, as we always say, all over the U.S. And we have all of these ready to go. So do we have any questions from anybody?
Let me check. Yes. There is someone on LinkedIn. They say they are owners for 3 restaurants. They are all together, and the clients are lately have been complaining about the crappy Wi-Fi. and a crappy internet connection.
Sure.
So they're asking if which one could help them, like have a better connection and like that.
Yeah, so access point placement is the most important thing, right? So if you wanna, you gotta do the trade off, right? So if you wanna have the most coverage, you wanna go as far as possible. You're gonna be giving up some throughput, some quality of the connection, right? So in essence, what we would suggest is probably putting more access points with lower power so that they have more throughput available to them. But maybe they can't, right? Maybe they have a limitation in the sense of, what the cable runs that they have or whatnot. Something like the U6 Pro, this guy right here. So something like the U6 Pro, which is a little bit in the higher end level, which has a little bit more throughput available, it might be a good suggestion for them. Since maybe they already have cable runs and they just want to swap out access points. The U6 Pro would be a good choice because it's going to give them the higher throughput already available. You can have more clients connected to it, so it'll handle more traffic. And obviously, it's a well-powered device. It's not like the U6 Lite where it's a little bit smaller coverage area. So it's well-powered. So somebody like that might benefit from getting the U6 Pro installed and upgraded on that network.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bruno. We have another question. How competitive are your prices?
Yeah, so we're a Ubiquiti Master Distributor. We definitely have we work very hard to make sure we have the best prices in the market. So if you see something on our website, on our social media channels that you're interested in, don't hesitate to call us, to email us, to get in contact with one of our salespeople, so they can make sure to get you guys the best price possible. We're very competitive and always ready to work with anybody and everybody. So.
Right. And another question: do you guys have any technical advice or support?
Yeah, yeah. So we do. If you guys have any projects that maybe need help designing, or if you have post project questions, anything that problems that you run into and you need help with, definitely you can reach out to us. We do have a tech support channel that we can help you guys with. Again, both pre and post. So anything you guys need on the tech side, we're always here ready to help as well.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Again, stay tuned for the next episode next week. We'll talk a little bit about some different U6s, some interesting different versions of this. So definitely tune in, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.